Was fantastic, Sharon. That's the talk for today. That was such a great reminder. Heaven's in my heart. As she sang, it's heaven's in my heart, not because of something outside of me, but it's in my heart. That's all I need. That's really powerful stuff. And what if you could experience heaven, happiness from the inside out, no matter what's going on in your life, no matter what? Well, that's what I've been talking about last Sunday and finishing up today, talking about happy for no reason, and that's based on this book by Marcy Shimoff called Happy for No Reason. 7 Steps to Being Happy from the Inside Out. And it's a self-help kind of book, but it's based on science of mind principles, the things you hear every Sunday here, the things we teach. So it's not just about outer stuff, how to. It always reminds us how to tap that inner happiness that is already there. And that, as a matter of fact, is what the message of the book is. She said this book is about ways to consistently experience deep inner happiness that's at your very core, that's beyond reason, and that is here to stay. Wow. At your very core, that's heaven's in my heart, and then that's beyond reason. That, I like that line because, see, we tend to go into I would be happy if, and all the reasons why we should have things that will make us happy or experiences that will make us happy, and this is saying it's way beyond reason. It's happiness at your core, beyond reason, and is here to stay. It never, ever goes away. It is your very spiritual essence. Our very spiritual DNA is that joy, that happiness, that vibrancy that life is, that God is. So what does happiness look like for you? It could be, maybe when I say happy, you think of an emoji with a big smile on its face, and that's not me. Well, maybe happiness is a sense of contentment, or simply a sense of complete well-being. So let's broaden that, and when I'm saying happy for no reason, it can be one of those qualities, if that resonates more with you. The point being, it's on the inside. It's not contingent on anything outside. Boy, it's a fitting theme for the holidays too, isn't it? The season of joy to the world, and ironically, for so many people, it is the least joyful time of the year. And again, when that happens, it's generally because of outside influences, outside expectations. And therefore, how can I be happy during the holidays? Because. So the truth is that we can experience happiness during this season or at any time of the year. And again, because it's woven into our very nature. You can call it God by whatever name you always hear us remind ourselves that it doesn't matter what we call it. It's that essence of life. And it's not a grumpy God. God is not, a grouch. God is the very expression of happiness. So that's what we have inside. And just as a reminder, every Sunday, we have a message that is based somehow on the truth that the power for whatever it is you want is inside. The power is within. And it goes, and happiness is certainly no exception. Well, when we say that, we mean whatever we are seeking begins with our thoughts, begins with our consciousness. And remember, your consciousness is the sum total of all your beliefs, all your subconscious thoughts, and of course your conscious thoughts. And yet, when it comes to happiness, it seems like that's one where it was so easy to get seduced, enticed, compelled to look for it outside in people, places, and things. But let's remind ourselves, and let's explore this a little bit more, then, that we can have it from the inside out no matter what is going on in our lives. And, of course, that's the big caveat, isn't it? No matter what's going on. And please know, as I said last Sunday, this is not in any way to trivialize or minimize or be flippant about any challenges that you may be experiencing. And it also does not rule out any external therapies or resources that do help uncover that inner happiness. But the beautiful thing is, recognizing that it is already within us can serve as a guide in drawing to us the therapies, the supports, the tools from outside that best support our unique needs. So it's great to know that it's both and. And the best part is this, that when we are looking for support, assistance from outside, that is a therapeutic protocol of some kind, if one starts to seem like it's not working, we don't need to despair, because there's always another one, because the source, again, is always from within, and it's infinite, it's God. No matter what we seek, remember, whatever it is on the outside can be very useful. It is only an avenue for the one source that is always perfect, that is never ending, and that will always find another way. So what a great marriage to know that, yes, if we are looking for support in all the tools that are available to us, that's not the complete story at all. And the thing of it is, in our beautiful humanness, we do experience sadness and anxiety and fear and anger and a whole range of responses to life. And that's the texture of being human, the tapestry of who we are. So I'm not discounting all of that at all. I just want to remind us that behind all of that, though, joy can be our foundation, our compass, our due north, our GPS, our guidance system. So just to recap a little from last Sunday, and you can hear it all on the podcast on our website. Basically, from the book, the author reminds us that happiness is not something you do, it's what you are. It's something that you are. That reminded me of a statement by Emma Curtis Hopkins, who was one of the powerful early influences on Dr. Ernest Holmes, the architect of our philosophy. And Emma was so brilliant, and she always spoke of this inner power and presence. And she said, "My joyous song of life is the joy of spirit." My joyous song of life is the joy of spirit. So happiness is not something you do, it's something you are. The second thing that the author stressed that we talked about last week is that to experience happy for no reason is not to search until we find what makes us happy. I mean, that's a myth, we know that. But that there is some doing. And the doing, I just said, I'm not contradicting myself. I said happiness is not something you do, it's something you are. But there is some doing, and the doing has to do with getting out of the way of that inner happiness, that innate happiness. So getting out of the way so that sun can shine out from within us, that contentment, that sense of well-being. Now, in the book, she has a long list of suggestions of tools, things to use to help this process. And remember, as I said last Sunday, she summed them up in 3 guiding principles for getting out of your own way and experiencing your innate happiness, your innate well-being. Expansion, trust, and appreciation. Expansion, she said, think and do things that expand you and stop doing things that contract you. And when you're doing something or experiencing something that makes you feel alive and expansive, you and I know that feeling. We don't even probably pay attention to it, but we know it, we would recognize it, as opposed to those things that contract us. Those, whether it's the people we hang with or the decisions we make or what the activities we engage in. She said the first thing to do to get out of the way of your inner happiness is do the things that expand you, and as best you can, stop doing the things that contract you. And the second thing, trust. Trust that the universe is out to support you. I mean, that's huge too, isn't it? That's huge. But when we do that, we get out of the way of that inner happiness. Trust, she says, that the universe is always out to support you, always providing ways to support you and your best growth. You know, that's the little small print part, and your best growth, because it might be, first of all, it may not be obvious that what is happening is there to support you, but it always is. It's there to support your best growth. So while sometimes disappointments occur and things don't go the way we think they should, stay tuned and trust. Trust that the universe is always out to support you. So she said, do things that expand you. Trust and know that always life is on your side. And then the third thing, appreciate, because what you appreciate appreciates. In other words, that's just talking about where's your attention. Put your attention on things you appreciate and appreciate them some more. And what that does is expand and gets you out of the way of the things that would depreciate or depreciate you. So all this is about getting out of our own way. Now, Jaron is going to sing a song after I'm done here that when I was looking at the lyrics, I just thought, wow, this is it. And it's by Karen Drucker, and the song is called 3 Little Words. And there's a line in there that says, any time I hit a roadblock, this is what I say. 3 little words that can help me get out of my way. Now, she doesn't have just 3 little words. She has several series of 3 little words. So you can, kind of pick one that works for you. One of them is life is good. Let it go. Yes, I can. I am blessed. Be here now. And there are more. Now, when you hear those things, it might seem like, oh, that's so simplistic. And there also may be a tendency to squirm and say, life is good? Yeah, but you don't know what's going on in my life. You don't know what's going on in my world. I am blessed, well, but you don't know what's happening today or what happened last week. There's this tendency to go into the yeah buts, and we all have them. So instead of the yeah buts, as you think about these, I'm going to ask you to switch out and say because, and here's how that's going to go. And the because is things like this. For example, life is good because my immense capital S self is pure joy. Life is good because God's got my back. Life is good because the Creator supports its creation creatively, or any other affirmation that works for you. So when you think about these 3 little words, here's what I mean, for example. Like I said, life is good, and yeah, but something might kick in and say, well, yeah, that sounds nice on a bumper sticker, but, I got problems. Or instead, I would like you to say, life is good because, and remind yourself, because God has got my back, because I am innate joy, innate well-being. Let it go. Yeah, but I can't let that go. You have no idea. I need to control this situation. Change it. Let it go because God is on my side, because the universe is in my support, because whatever is happening for me, not to me. How about, yes, I can? Well, that might sound overly simple, too. Something kicks in and says, yeah, but you don't know how hard it is. You don't know how many things are working against me. You don't know how many people are opposed to me. Yes, I can because the universe is on my side, because I can trust that life is for me, that God's got my back. I am blessed. Do you get the idea? Yeah, but. No, because. Be here now. Oh yeah, but my mind won't stay here. Besides, I have things I have to plan, things I'm worrying about in the past. The past and the future. Be here now. Why can I do that? Well, I can't do it in my own humanness because all that other stuff is chattering. But I can, when I remember, I can be here now because I'm taken care of by life, by spirit. I'm always, always being lifted and supported by the one. And each one of those in that song, each one of those groups of 3 words could probably be a whole talk. This one I'd like to focus on today, though, is let it go. Let it go. Whatever is in the way of my happiness, let it go. Why? Because life is good. Letting it go is about acceptance, And that really helps me when I think about letting go. Because often when I think about letting go, it's kind of like whatever it is like Velcro. You can't just let go of Velcro. You have to kind of peel it off. So when I say acceptance, that seems to make it work, make it doable. And why can I accept whatever is happening? Because again, life is conspiring for my good, my growth, my wholeness. Remember, what's happening is not happening to me, it's happening for me. So, as the saying is now, everybody says, well, it is what it is. It is what it is. I can accept it. And to me, that in a way, that is letting go because it's letting go of resistance. I'm not resisting anymore. And when I'm resisting, that contracts me. Doesn't it contract you? I mean, when you don't let this happen, I'm afraid this is going to happen, it just pulls me in. But when I accept, there's kind of an expansion there. I happened to come across some writings by the brilliant Thomas Merton, who was a monk, Trappist monk who died in the 60s and had written 70 or 80 books, just a really wise man. And this line really got me. This is something you see in Dr. Ernest Holmes' writings and many of our New Thought writings, but he said, at the bottom of all reality is a deep goodness, a hidden wholeness. That's why I can say, okay, I can accept or I can let it go. Because at the bottom of it all is a deep goodness and a hidden wholeness. So acceptance is not resignation. Letting it go is not resigning yourself to something. It's acknowledging it. It's acknowledging it. And when we do that, we let go of that resistance and we position ourselves then to more easily let go of whatever's in the way of our happiness. So here's a brief practice that she includes in the book, and if you'd like to do this now with me, I invite you to, and if you would just like to listen to it, that's okay too. You can maybe do it at home. So just be comfortable, and if you want to close your eyes, you can, or leave them open, whatever is comfortable for you. Whatever we experience as a roadblock to our happiness begins with a thought, and those thoughts can be sticky and relentless stories that we tell ourselves. Even though, as Byron Katie says, don't believe everything you think, but we do. So we have that thought, and it immediately generates feelings, and that's where the energy is. It's the feelings behind the thought. So it's about going behind that mental chatter and connecting with the feelings that are associated with the thoughts, with the stories. Because it's the feelings that keep those thoughts just glued to our minds, blocking our innate happiness. So, focus on something right now that is troubling you, that's in the way of your happiness. And allow yourself to feel all of the feelings that come up when you focus on that. And they may be pretty intense or they may be subtle. But they're not bad. It could be despair, anger, loss, frustration, pain, overwhelm. And then ask yourself, could I let this feeling go? Is it possible for me to let this feeling go? See, we've already acknowledged it, accepted that it is. Could I let it go? Now, the answer may be yes or no, and both answers are acceptable. My answer initially would be no, truth be told. So then the next question is, would I let this feeling go? I mean, am I willing to let this feeling go? Well, maybe. And if not, sure. If it's a yes or a no or a maybe, then ask the question, would I prefer to have this feeling or would I prefer being free? Yes or no? Most of us would probably say I'd prefer, but does that mean I have to do something? I'm still not ready to let it go. So whatever the answer, neither is right or wrong. And then take it to the level of saying, well then, if not now, if I can't let it go now, then when? Oh, okay, I can revisit this tomorrow, in a week, after the holidays. And then just for the fun of it, for a moment, even though it may be you're not ready to let that go, imagine yourself having let go of that sticky feeling. What would that be like? It's an interesting and revealing place to be. Still saying, I don't know if I can let it go because it's so intense, but I could imagine what it would be like to let it go. And feel that. Just for a moment, feel the sense of relief, maybe lightness, of freedom. Feel your heart open. Just pretending. Now, this is going to be a process, and if you would like to continue through the next many days, I'll say lather, rinse, and repeat. Lather, rinse, and repeat. It is a process. There are layers. And the results may be subtle and gradual, but they're powerful. Okay, now you can leave that feeling wherever it is and come back with us. I love that process because it's not a black and white, it's not an either or. It allows me to be in the wholeness of my personal experience, right where I am, and yet it allows me to peek into, well, what if I did think about being willing to let that feeling go, the energy behind the thoughts that are standing in the way of my sense of happiness. And when I do this exercise myself, I find I get little glimpses of that inner happiness that's there despite what's going on. And I hope that's true for you too. I hope that will be true for you, and I hope you'll practice this in the coming days and discover how it little by little it peels away what seems to be in the way. Because happiness for no reason is yours. It's mine. Because let me remind you again, in the words of Raymond Charles Barker, who was a student of Dr. Ernest Holmes and spoke the same language, and he said, God is wherever I am. God will always be with me. God's hand will never loose mine. And God's love will never let me go. And then take this mandate from Dr. Ernest Holmes. We should accept happiness as our divine birthright today. Not make it happen, accept it, because it is yours. Happiness for no reason. So I'll say, happy holidays, happy Sunday, and so it is. Now listen to Jaren, and she's gonna sing those 3 words. She's gonna preach it.